Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, compost, garbage, and other trashy topics. I'm your host, Becca Fong. This week's episode, May the Forks be with you. Ways to taste more of your food and waste less of it. We have a super special guest this week, Sheryl Anayas, who is a food waste prevention. Super stoked to talk to her about this week's question. Hey, Pat.
Hello. How are you doing, Becca?
We're doing good. Hey, Sheryl. Thanks for joining us this week.
Absolutely. Great to be here.
We are so excited to have you on the show to talk all about food waste prevention. We've got a really great show this week. So for those of you who have not met the lovely Sheryl Anayas, Sheryl, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'd be glad to. Again, such a joy for you guys to ask me to be on the show. I've been wanting to join for quite some time. I'm Sheryl Anayas. I'm with Seattle Public Utilities. I manage the Food Stop Waste program, which is all about waste prevention, food waste prevention specifically, but also manage a few other things, but focused on the topic of food for today's show.
Awesome. Super, super glad to have you here. Food waste prevention is something we talk a lot about. And so, Pat, this month is, all about compost. And so food waste, we would like to prevent that before we even get to the compost phase. So what's this question? What's our question this week?
All right. The question into the Ask Evelyn inbox this week is from Kenny. Kenny says, "Hi, Evelyn. I try to buy in bulk so I can save money and not have to shop as often. Sometimes I end up with more food than I can deal with. For example, I bought a 10-pound bag of carrots and 4 loaves of bread. They were on sale. There's no way I'll be able to eat all this before they go bad. Any tips?" So, Sheryl, any tips for Kenny?
A wonderful question for Penny. Thanks for coming along. And I love this question because it resonates so much. And I think so many of the folks that contact me, whether it's a customer or friends and family. And I have to say kudos to Kenny for catching the tail, because I'm also a bulk hunter, so genius. And I hit Costco pretty frequently, or whatever bulk store that you go to, great deals. It makes sense that you want to sort of, for the coming months or weeks or what have you. So big bulk of carrots or bags of bread, get it. And I would say keep in mind the freezer is your friend. It's a great way to start. And just pause. I say for Kenny, we're in his shoes to say, what am I planning for the week? And what am I planning for the weeks and months to come? I'll start with bread, and then I'll talk about carrots. So bread is a staple in our house. We often buy it in bulk and freeze it. And honestly, I think it was probably my 20s when I realized maybe you could freeze bread, because in my mind, I always went in the cupboard. So there's another just FYI for folks. Like, it goes in the freezer and it can last, if I'm correct here, around 3 months or so. But you want to make sure you're labeling that bread if it's not labeled. So that's first. And say it's a 2-package bread or maybe 4. I'll take a loaf out because I know with confidence that my family is going to go through that full loaf that week. And I'll think things to make with that bread. And maybe I'll bust out one of my sheets, this meal planning sheet that's available on our website. I know Becca is probably going to share that later. But essentially think about what your meals look like for the week. And I eat a lot of salads, so I'll probably use a few pieces of those slices of that bread and make croutons. Those are great. But I might bread to go bad or a little bit, towards the staler end, and then I'll save it for later. So that's a really great thing to have. And then when they're freezing and it's maybe you didn't buy the bread, you ate it, and you made loaves of bread, you might want to pre-slice it and then put it in the freezer.
Yes.
And package it with freezer-safe plastic wrap if you can, and then preserves it for a longer shelf life in the freezer. So that's the bread.
Love that tip. Portion sizes.
Awesome.
Portion sizes are great strategies for not just bread, of course, a lot of different leftovers and things to put it. That's where we, in our household, would try and put things in individual meal serving sizes in the freezer.
I am impressed with all of you because I have the aspiration of creating a meal planning guide for my week. I have yet to get there. But there are super awesome tips, and the tools that you guys have is really great. Sheryl, I wanted to ask really quick, can you switch to your data? We're getting a little bit of a lag on you.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here.
Because we want to make sure that we catch everything. But it
I
is
tell you,
funny,
while Sheryl
sorry,
does that, I'll just mention to Kenny that we really should, as consumers, resist the urge to get such a great deal on bulk buying. Bulk buying is great, and there's so many great ways to do bulk buying these days with more stores expanding their bulk food section. It's great to buy in bulk if you can use, your personal containers or a reusable container, or even a bag, even the little plastic bags they offer in the bulk food aisle, because that cuts down a lot on packaging.
Yes.
We spend a lot of time in this show talking about what to do with the packaging that came around the thing you wanted. Like, they didn't want the oatmeal, they wanted the oatmeal, not the oatmeal container, right?
Yeah.
So if you buy from bulk and you're reusing that container, then you've removed the whole challenge of is it recyclable? How clean is it? Those things are like avoided with not going crazy with your purchasing, for one, but also being a smart buyer in the bulk foods aisle.
It's a smart move. I mean, those of you who watch the show, like Pat and I, just like, we love a deal, so like we can empathize. Like, if there were 4 loaves of bread on sale, like I probably would have bought 4 loaves of bread too.
Especially bread.
I know. Bread, always have bread in my house. But Sheryl, the other tip I was curious about, which is maybe a little more effort, but like carrots, right? So Kenny was writing notes about carrots. What do you got for us on that?
Great question, and I'm hoping you guys can bear with me with audio here.
Yeah.
But I will try and speak up if I can. Let's see here.
You're good.
Yeah.
Just let me know if that works. If not, I'll pause and readjust. But with carrots, it's such a great, because yes, you could potentially throw them in the freezer, but not smart, because they will be rubbery. You want to blanch them. And essentially that means you pop them in boiling water for a couple minutes to 5 minutes. And if you Google carrots blanching, so much is out there. If you want to step super easy, you let them dry off. Make sure you put some ice to stop the cooking.
Okay.
Them in freezer bags and make sure the air is out. Seal them, eat them. You can use, reusable bags like I have and slap a label on them, or you can use standard Ziploc freezer bag. Already got section here for your labeling,
right?
And like you said, talked about earlier, meal plan sizing, right? And think about what you're going to use the carrots for. So for our family, it'll be pureed baby food, carrots for salads and soups. And so I'll chop them up in lots of little circular small pieces and have those ready to go for
Nice.
That is fantastic. That is super awesome. And I love that the Love Food Stop Waste program has tons of resources and tools that are downloadable. So we'll definitely have a link to that in the show notes. It's Seattle.gov/utility/stopfoodwaste, if you guys can remember that, but definitely we'll have a link for you. So Pat, there are also a couple of really fun things to just think about, like food storage, and then also like just eating what you got too.
Well, in my household, we use the jars, the pickle jar, the jam jar. We have jars are kind of our jam, for storage in the fridge. So we do that, but I have this cool little stainless steel container, which is our eat first bin in the fridge.
I love those.
So like having half an apple here. It's getting a little, but anyway, I'll eat it, I promise. The point is that it's a great reminder. I'm a little hungry between meetings. I'll pop into the kitchen, open the fridge, and look in the eat first bin first. Make sure, try and before it goes bad, before it's not appetizing. You want to go ahead and consume the food if you're hungry. So that's a tip. It's a great tip. This sticker, by the way, y'all. This is a sticker that you can pick up at when we're doing outreach at grocery stores or farmers markets. This is a tool that was created by the SPU Food Waste Prevention Program. Sheryl, right?
Oh yeah, I'm so glad you're giving a shout out to that sticker, because it's the one prop I'm missing, and I think it's great to flash on the screen because we get so much great feedback, and it's so fun to make your fridge interactive, right?
Totally.
You miss a label like that.
Yes, absolutely. Mine is a printout that I printed on paper and then taped on a plastic shoebox that my kids colored. So they're a little more invested in the Eat First box in my house, which is really great. Yeah. One other really awesome tool that you guys have as part of the program is the food storage guide. And I think just about everybody I've encountered has realized that I was probably storing something in a way that shortened its life, or I could make a change that would prolong its life. So I don't know if you want to talk about that just a little bit.
Absolutely. So thanks for mentioning that, Becca. So I'll give a quick flash of something that we have that's similar to what you're talking about, but this is a freezer storage guide, and we have an updated version on the website we'll share later. And then fruit and veg storage tips. So it looks at, the container, the proper container and the proper temperature, right? So it takes the guesswork out of it. And this is based on all the research and focus groups that we've had in the past. So we've all this sort of easy to read guide to put on your fridge or on the counter. It can be easy to get to. But one of the examples I had was, again, earlier, the freezing of the bread. I thought that always went in the cupboard. And how maybe certain fruits or potatoes or vegetables interact with each other if they're put together, eventually encourage the other item to ripen.
I know. I was so surprised by that some of the, one type of vegetable will off gas, like as its normal kind of ripening or process. And then that space will make another fruit or vegetable like ripen really fast.
Totally.
And so there's certain, things you have to keep apart from each
Yes.
other if you want to have a longer,
Bananas,
yeah. Is that right?
bananas and onions do not play well with other fruit or produce items. Like, I teach my kids that when they're putting stuff away. I was like, bananas don't play well with others. Like, put those over there.
You want a fun experience to see how quickly one changes color, maybe.
Right? Exactly. One tip that I really liked was that we were always putting milk on the door. And then I learned that the door is not a very cold place, right? So you want to stick it up near on the top shelf because it's colder there, and then milk lasts longer. So that was kind of a really cool tip that I had not even realized before. But we will have links, like I said, to all of these awesome, great tools and tips. You can download straight from the website, which is fantastic. Definitely outreach. Sheryl, I'm guessing you guys are going to be out and about this summer as all of us are ramping up our outreach a little bit more. So yeah, so keep an eye out for more materials for the Love Food Stop Waste program. So a couple of really quick reminders as we wrap up. It is spring, y'all, in case you haven't noticed, and we have some really good Beyond the Cart events coming at you. We have scheduled our 2 spring compost events, May 14th and May 21st. On the 14th, we'll be at South Seattle College, and on the 21st, we'll be at Temple Beth Am, which is up by Picardo Pea Patch or Doll Playfield. For those of you who are Maple Leaf folks, you will know those landmarks. And we also have a collection event coming up on May 21st in partnership with Phinney Ridge Neighborhood Association. That is a lot of info, people. All you need to do is look at the link in our show notes or go to Seattle.gov/utility/beyondthecart, and we'll have all the information there. More collection events, more compost events coming at you, but we'll keep that updated so you guys know just where to go. And with that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sheryl, thank you so much for sharing all this really great knowledge with us. I will have to say, Pat, I appreciate it. Don't give in to buying stuff on sale, but I'm gonna. So I really appreciate all the tips, Sheryl, of how to keep my bread and how to keep my produce fresh.
You got it.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you back on the show again to share more information about how to prevent food waste. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And remember, check out the link. What Becca will send later. We've got a ton of information on the website.
Yes, so many good things. And maybe one of these days I'll get my act together and plan a meal. We'll see. We can all hope. So thank you guys so much. A quick reminder, this show is run on your questions, so keep them coming at us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or send us an email at askevelyn@Seattle.gov. And we will see you next week, Wednesday, 1:30. And with that, I'm Becca Fong. And life's simpler with less stuff.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right, and may the fork be with you.
Bye, Sheryl.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.